welcome to the vlog. It's a beautiful sunny day in Cleveland. We're gonna train some dogs. So we're on our way to the place, and then we're gonna go to the other place, and we're just gonna do the thing. So that's it. All right, so today we're gonna be hitting both of our public outings. So we'll be hitting our interior place, so Home Depot, exterior place, Edgewater. Just making sure he's gonna stay focused in around different types of distractions. We got a lot of people here, obviously, and at the park, hopefully we'll see a couple dogs. Down. Good. Good. Rocky, come. Good. Luca, come. Good. Buddy. Okay. Cool.
Laying down, if the kids start walking towards the area where the couch is, or even sometimes if they start walking downstairs from upstairs, he immediately gets up and starts going after, he'll try to go after them.
Yeah.
And, he gets them pinned. He's never bitten them. But his paws are very, very strong and powerful, and he sounds like he's going to rip them apart. I mean, it sounds horrible.
Yeah.
And, he's scratching them. My grandson, the youngest one, won't even, come into a room with him unless he's crated or on a leash at this point.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. So, like I said, I think there's a very realistic possibility we can get this stuff handled. I think that, what this may wind up looking like is, I always say, first things first, as we start to work through these issues, we essentially have to have a prolonged period of success, without him rehearsing the behavior. So a lot of times what we recommend is, we're going to take maybe, maybe like a 1 to 2 week period of time. And in that period of time, it may be a lot of place command and stuff like that, just to kind of get that history of success with things. But from there, we would show you how to successfully start having him interact with the children, how to go about correcting if there's problems, what to look for with things, stuff like that, Yeah, no, like I said, we've seen enough stuff like this before, and given his breed, the thing is, Aussie Doodles can be a little bit more territorial about stuff, but inherently they're not an aggressive breed, you know what I mean? Where we're going to be super concerned that this is going to be very challenging to work through or anything like that. Good. So we'll get into the actual enrichment exercises. So with this, there are like 3 exercises we work on and 3 exercises only, right? Regardless of what the dog knows, right? Sit, stay, sit. Good. Okay, bed stay, getting onto the bed first, so you would just do a bunch of walking up, bed, giving the bed command, let them stabilize on. Again, they could sit down, stand, I don't care. The only expectation is 4 paws on the bed. If the dog does not do it, you would tell them no, you would give a correction, then you would help them onto the bed, right? Okay, we're not gonna sit there and like, no bed, no bed, no bed, no bed, over and over again. Once you give that initial correction, just help them into position at that point. Doorways. And come, you're using your come command, you're going up, opening the door. A couple points with this. I think everybody kind of knows this, but when you go to open that door, don't open the door and step through or anything. Open the door and keep your feet planted in one spot. Obviously, the dog is cueing off of your motion a lot of times in these cases, so if you open the door and then like step through like this, they're gonna try to follow you through it and make a mistake, right? So open the door, keep your feet planted. Once the dog is stable, come, walk them through. And then just drill that a couple times. So I'll just do all 3 of these. Really, really straightforward, right? Again, something that virtually every single dog that comes here will be able to do. And if they don't already know those things, they'll be able to pick it up pretty freaking easily, right? So, whoosh. Okay, so Moose is here for boarding right now. His owner asked for a one-on-one tune-up session, which is like an additional thing that you can kind of purchase and have whatever you want, frankly, worked on with your dog with a trainer for an hour while they're here. She wanted just a little bit of everything, so obviously we coached him through some of the enrichment-related drills downstairs. We did some socialization with him earlier, and what I'm getting into is I'm going to be doing a little bit of his off-leash stuff here, just working on off-leash healing throughout the facility and kind of testing him a little bit. Moose did a board and train a while ago for a lot of really intense like dog reactivity issues and stuff. So by getting him working off leash through these areas and kind of getting him, 1, socializing, and getting 2, him ignoring the other dogs like in the kennels and dogs that are barking at him and stuff like that, can be very productive for him, obviously. What are you doing, bud? So we'll take him this way. He's not in command right now, so he's free to do whatever. And we'll start working this. Moose, come. So I'll put him in that come command. Once he's in that come command, I'm just gonna kind of start walking him around. He's scared of him. He said, Jesus, this dog's crazy. This dog's crazy. Yep. So how's everything going? You said pretty good?
Really, really well with the walking.
Cool.
Still stairs a little bit, even with the shock.
Yeah.
But after, it's like the first 10 minutes that we're moving, we have a little bit of the same as last time.
Yeah.
But after that first 10 minutes, it's like it clicks and it's
Perfect.
right back to...
Have you done running with him with it?
No, because I didn't want I couldn't get this. It was me. Like,
it's a little awkward at first, yeah.
Me, so I was like, we'll just go with this.
I'm sure if you're trying to like go out and enjoy your run too, it's like I don't really want to have to worry about the dog.
Yeah, it's just...
Yeah, I get it. That's fine.
And I caught myself pulling a lot more instinctively.
Yeah, that's normal. Again, you're kind of developing new habits yourself, so sit. Okay. All right. No. Come. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna start with a little bit of walking. So we're gonna cruise back and forth this way a couple times. I'll have you walk just on my right-hand side. So for this, we're doing a little less of the weaving around like we were doing last time, and I'm trying to simulate more of the actual walk. If we're just going, a lot of times when you're moving just straight forward as opposed to all over the place, they could get distracted a lot more easily.
Yeah.
Because their attention kind of stays that way. Okay, so maybe we'll turn around. Thank you.
And then I did it.
Okay, so do you anticipate you would use, we're going to do both of them obviously, but do you anticipate you'd use a bed stay or a sit stay more right now?
Sit stay more.
Sit stay? Okay, we'll start that. You can go ahead and take a seat. We'll start jumping into the next thing. So what we're going to do then today is we'll focus on obviously conditioning in the e-collar with the sit command and obviously proofing that with duration and stuff.
Okay.
Good job, buddy. So really straightforward process here. Obviously last time we confirmed that we could use the leash to get him into position, obviously. Good. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna start layering in really low e-collar into this. So we're gonna start at like a 2. We're gonna start giving our verbal sit command, sit. If he does not do it, I'm gonna engage the e-collar, help him into the position, and release when his butt gets on the ground. Okay. So you'll see each of the commands we work with, obviously the leash walking, the sits, the downs, the beds, all that. There's gonna be 2 stages to the e-collar training. So the initial stage is obviously using the continuous pressure or negative reinforcement to teach where the pressure turns off, right? So the sit position, obviously. From there, once he's doing it reliably just on verbal command, we use a slightly higher single tap correction to deter not doing it.
Okay.
Okay. Sit. So we're starting off like this, giving him a chance to do it. Good. Okay. If he doesn't do it, we're holding the button, helping him into it, and releasing once he gets his butt on the ground. Okay. All right, looks pretty good. So what we're gonna do next here is we're gonna start adding some duration into this. So this is where we're gonna switch from using the continuous pressure to the single tap, right? So I'm gonna tell him to sit, sit. Once he fully stabilizes into position, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start walking around him holding the leash. And if he gets up out of that position, I'll tell him no, tap the button 1 time, then tell him sit. Once he does well with that, kind of go back to him, stabilize. Okay, then release. Good. I'm sure I asked you this last time, but does he socialize with other dogs very much?
As much as I can, which with COVID it hasn't been nearly, but we used to go to the dog park and say like up until a year ago, like every week.
And he was fine?
Yeah, we never had any.
That was really what I meant, is that did he have any issues with other dogs? So that's good.
He's pretty beta, he's nice to immediately rolls over.
Yeah.
The only thing is like you saw in there with other dogs, and it's just I ceased it.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Just excited.
Yeah. There was only one time he had like a behavioral issue with the dog and he went after it, but like they just didn't mesh, and it was the only dog it had ever
Good.
with.
What happened?
The dog ran out and he went to go do his sniffing, but it just turned immediately into trying to put his neck and growling over him.
Yeah.
And then the other dog tried to do the same thing and he just kind of nicked him pretty.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's been the only time that's happened.
Was that at the dog park?
Yes. Yeah.
You know, sometimes also the dog parks it's not very conducive for proper greetings because there's so much energy with the other dog running into the situation, you know what I mean? Where a lot of times, like if I have two dogs that are gonna be a little bit more kind of conflicting with each other personality-wise, I'm gonna let it be a much slower introduction where, like, let's say this is the gate to the dog park right over here. I would bring, you know, we'd have one dog loose over there. I'd have the other dog loose on this side, obviously, and I would let them kind of get some of that arousal and energy out of the way before they ever even go in. Like, let them kind of sniff through the gate, let them relax a little bit, let the energy level come down, then let them in. So it's not like this, like he's all the way over there, this dog's right here eyeing him down. You open the gate, it's just like bam, energy rush towards them, and then, you know what I mean? Because then it's normal they're going to compete with each other. It's not that I have a problem with that, but that much energy going into the competition is what creates the problem usually. All right, same deal. Sit. Good. So same deal. Jumping right into some sit stays, a little bit higher of distractions. Okay. Sit. See ya.
Yeah, this has never been a thing, ever.
That's pretty good.
This would never happen.
Pretty good. Okay, good job, buddy. That was so good.
I don't want to move.
We're gonna end that on that. That was great.
Okay.
Give me the leash. You can hang out with him for a minute.
You crushed it.
That was awesome. So, yeah, I mean, listen, like a little bit of nerves associated with working through really big hurdles, obviously, but massive progress for 2 sessions in, you know? Because here's the thing, if we can get some of these initial fights out of the way now, we have all the time in the world then to build his confidence up, right? Not that we want to see him not confident, obviously, but if it inevitably happens as we work through those like massive distractions, it's normal.
Even versus earlier, me having to like
Exactly.
pin him between
Yes.
our bodies.
So, you know, it's hard for him, obviously, but he did a really great job with that. And obviously, as far as the vocalization and stuff, don't worry about any of that. All we care about is the physical position.
Since we never told him, we can't really correct him.
Okay, correct.
You know what I mean? So just editing it, just gives you another repetition.
Yeah.
We
We were doing it around our house here and there, but it seemed to be better when we just like really let them kind of explore.
Sure, sure. Yeah,
How's he doing?
He's been pretty good.
Yep. Did you get to work like distractions and stuff at all? Or?
A little bit, yeah.
And he did pretty well with them?
Yeah.
Nice. Any big issues?
No, not really. Even when he's been seeing other dogs, he's
Oh.
been, he does the vocalization,
Yeah.
the scare stuff, but once I get his attention, he's pretty set.
That's great. Cool. Well, we'll let them kind of get themselves situated real quick here, and then we will start cruising. And we're actually probably going to work here today just with more distractions and stuff, obviously, see how he does. So why don't you go ahead and grab his leash. We're gonna take him upstairs. All right, so we're gonna jump first here just into some of those sit stays. Keep it nice and easy. Sit. I'll go through the same process of just getting into the sit first, then adding the duration little by little. Okay. Sit. Good. Okay.
And one thing we were doing extra this week,
Sit.
This past week, was we were doing
Okay.
the collar training while we were going out to the restroom. So
Like the sits and stuff? Sit.
yeah, like
Yep.
have them go to the restroom and then immediately go into the.
I gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that's totally fine. You want to, as they get more proficient with certain exercises, you want to try to incorporate them just into your day-to-day as best as you can. Sit. Good. Process here is going to be just like with the sits last time, where we're going to start off with the continuous pressure on the e-collar, teaching them the off switch for the position. Once that looks good, what we'll do is we'll start switching to the single tap correction to enforce it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk him up to the bed here. I'm going to stop about 2 feet away or so, and I'm going to tell him, bed. Good. If he gets on, I'll tell him good. Give a reward for that. Okay, then release him off. If he does not, what I'm going to do is hold the button down, help him onto position, and release once he gets all 4 paws onto it. Bed. So here, what we're going to do is engage e-collar, help him on, release. Good. Okay. Good job, buddy. Okay. All right, so next what we're going to do is we're going to start adding some duration into this. So what I'm going to do is we're going to be switching to the single tap correction, obviously. So the no, the tap, the command. And I'm going to start kind of walking around just like I did with the leash, with the sit, I should say. Bed. Good. We'll get him into command first. No. Bed. If he doesn't do it, we'll mark with no, give our tap, repeat our bed command. We'll give our reward, obviously. At this point, I'm gonna have him hold position, walking around holding the leash. I'll just kind of arc around the bed here for a minute. Okay. Good work, bud. Bed. Good. Take the long way. Good work, dude. Okay, come on. All right, so next what we're gonna do is we're gonna start adding some duration into this, so dropping the leash. Bed. Good. You're noisy today, dude. Reward. Drop the leash. Same process with the sit here. Good, release them off. Okay. All right. So I'll take the leash back from you. Thank you. And your remote. Cool. So next what we're going to do is we're going to take them downstairs, and I want to work some bed stays in the lobby with higher distractions. Bed. Good. Okay. You can go ahead and set your leash down, just leave him there. Looks awesome. He is cruising along. He looks really, really good. So he picked the bed up pretty well, and I like that his food drive has seemed to come up a little bit too, which is great. That's helped us a little bit as well. And you know, overall his demeanor and attitude seems pretty good about doing all this as well. So I'm very happy with all of that. Generalizing to a little bit more distractions and stuff. He's focusing in nicely. You were able to keep him a little more under control when you got here. So like all in all, those are all very, very positive things, especially for, you know, not being that far through things, you know.
Are there any trainers out there or places that would train with an e-collar but like not use a prong before?
Yeah, I've done it before. I mean, it's just not ideal, right? Good. So anytime if you were to do that, the reason to do that would just be to move quicker through things, which is fine in some cases, you know, but you're essentially skipping a very viable step to help the dog successfully if you need to, right? Good, but I mean, like, pressure is pressure, right? Like, so forget prong collar, forget e-collar, forget slip lead, forget this, that. Okay, we're using quadrants of learning, right? We're using negative reinforcement. We're using positive punch. We're using all of these other things, right? So if I didn't, I could do it with just a flat collar if I wanted to, right? And all of our leash pressure stuff we do of like pressure up, meaning sit, pressure this way, meaning heel, pressure down, meaning down, et cetera, I could do that with a flat collar if I wanted to. The difference is, and the reason why we choose to use a prong as opposed to some of those other tools, is because since it's technically a little more aversive to the dog, you can get away with using less pressure, right? So since she's gonna care more about that amount of pressure, she's gonna do it without me needing to like totally like yank a ton of pressure on that leash, okay? Bed. Good. Same deal, like negative reinforcement on the e-collar, right? The only thing I don't need a prong collar, I just need to know I can physically get her onto the bed, you know, to condition this pressure, you know what I mean? So a lot of people, like, I know the way that they do it, I think they have a term called like fish hooking or something, which basically means everything is taught through getting the dog to follow you into place, right? So like with beds, instead of me teaching her to go onto the bed using directional leash pressure, you would essentially teach the dog using leash pressure and your body language to follow you onto the bed. Pair your pressure in with that.
Yeah.
Right, so you go place or bed, e-collar, help, off, right?
Gotcha.
So it's not contingent on a prong collar. The thing is though, because this dog, prime example, this is literally her second e-collar session ever, right? And because I've spent the time teaching my communication with food, teaching with the leash, it's so non-confrontational. You know what I mean? Like I can get away with doing all this so smoothly because I have so many different ways to communicate with her if I run into a hiccup. Okay.
Where do these people like essentially learn the general of like how to train and then make their own concept up, or like
It varies from person by person, right? Okay, so yeah, like it's totally unregulated, which is good and which is bad, right? It's good from the standpoint of anybody can get into it, and there's nobody telling me what I can and can't do, you know what I mean? But it's bad because there's no general curriculum you have to understand before getting into it, right? A lot of trainers out there, they don't really understand the science behind learning theory, right? I always say all the time, you could take anything that I do with a dog, right? And I could explain to you exactly what I'm doing and exactly why I'm doing it, right? And exactly how it is scientifically accurate as far as how animals or creatures learn. You know what I mean? So people that are getting into dog training will just kind of go pick whoever their favorite trainer is. And in today's day and age, it's the people that are most popular on the internet, obviously, right? And they'll basically just emulate their style, right? And a lot of people that are getting into dog training, they don't even have like the advantage of like having somebody they can work under who's going to be able to guide and coach them and stuff like that, right? And help them navigate this world of like information that's out there in this unregulated industry, you know what I mean? So a lot of them will wind up just like picking a person and just doing absolutely everything that they hear, like regurgitating everything they hear them say on the internet and doing everything they tell them to do without understanding why they're doing those things. And then they repeatedly run into issues, they repeatedly run into hiccups, and because they don't understand why they're doing the things they're doing, they don't understand how to fix the problems when they arise. Right? Which is why then you get full circle into why there's this push for regulation in the industry from the positive only camp, because yes, there is a lot of trainers out there that just don't know what the fuck they're doing. And then you get into certain tools and stuff like that. It's like, I don't necessarily think they're abusing dogs, but it's they're doing things in an unnecessary way that if they would understand some of this stuff better, they would realize they wouldn't need to do. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Down. So I don't know if that fully answered your question or not, but
yeah.
No.
I was just wondering like when people come up with style for
Yeah.
dog training, and I know it's not the same as like somebody being an artist, but
yeah.
when people come up with their style and they do those things, like do people do like trial and error with that stuff?
Yes, like to give you an example, good, myself, right, like was a lot of trial and error when I started, but I had good backing. You know what I mean? Like I made, like very, very early on in my dog training career, I made friends with really talented people in the dog training world. You know what I mean? Okay, like people that really knew their shit, right? And weren't just like internet famous people, right? Mm-hmm. Down. So because of that, though a lot of it was trial and error as far as the application of the things, I got a good understanding of the concepts very early on, you know? Good. And then, you know, from there, yeah, I would say it's similar to art from the standpoint of like, you know, you need to learn the mechanics of how to use a paintbrush, how to, whatever, you know, make a screen, how to do this, how to do, whatever. I don't know fucking art concepts, obviously, right? Or photography, I'm sure is the same, right? You need to understand the mechanics of the camera, the mechanics of the tools that you're using, you know, and like how those things work. And I'm sure you have to have at least enough of an understanding of what like ISO is or this or that, you know what I mean? like you have to understand the concepts of how animals learn. You have to understand the mechanics of how to use the tools that you're going to implement. From there, it is an art, you know, because each dog I take out, though the program that I put them through is roughly the same, I need to know how much to push, how much to pull, how much to motivate, how much to decrease behavior, et cetera, you know, based on the individual creature that I'm working with, right? Which is why you're asking, I have all these board and trains right now. I said I kind of like it sometimes because my goal, I made a funny post about this yesterday. Every one of these dogs is very different, you know what I mean, that I'm working with right now out of all 6 of them. But my goal is how can I make them all look the same in the end still? You know what I mean? So I have a vision of this is how I need to get this dog from point A to point B, but because they're gonna respond to things in such a different way, I need to really finesse how I'm implementing all of these different techniques to a point where I still get the, again, controlled but motivated dog. You know what I mean? So it's actually good when I see that they all are, like you're saying, like, wow, they're all on the same page, right? They're all kind of looking, no, down. They're all kind of looking similar as far as how they're performing the behaviors. No, down. Good. Okay. Like that's a compliment from the standpoint of like how different all of the dogs are, but I'm able to know how much of what each one needs to get them there.